Wow. Like everything about Abu Dhabi, it's opulent, and they've taken it to that 11.
I have a confession to make, and please don't think less of me here. When I found out that we were going to Abu Dhabi, my first thought was, wait, you mean that place that Garfield used to mail Normal to?
Garfield, where are we going?
We're not going anywhere. You, however, are getting a tour of scenic Abu Dhabi. Odie?
Okay, I am joking here. Mostly. While I was over there, I kind of described Abu Dhabi as the kid that's just won the lotto, and he doesn't really know about budgeting, and he doesn't really know what he wants to spend his money on, so he's just spending it on everything. And you get a sports car, and you get a sports car. And that's kind of how I felt Abu Dhabi to start with. I will say a few things though. One of the things that this brings about is amazing beauty. There's a lot of old world beauty mixed with new world architecture. There's a lot of things that are built just for the sake of being beautiful, which makes the place, well, beautiful. So one of the more interesting places I visited was actually the Heritage Museum out in Abu Dhabi. It's down by the marina, and to be clear, I'm not really recommending this place. There was not a lot to do or to see there, unless, like myself, you're kind of interested in this side of Abu Dhabi. You see, the UAE hasn't been how it is today for very long. As I mentioned earlier, the whole UAE, or a lot of it, kind of feels like that person that won the lottery. So this village is set up more or less the way a local village would have been set up back in the day pre-oil. The biggest export back then was actually something called the lulu, or pearls. So to me, like I say, this place is either going to be amazing and fascinating to you, or downright boring, and why did we bother coming here? I kind of wanted to see it because I wanted to see what life would have been like back then. Oh, fun fact, the word souk means market, and of course in Dune, Frank Herbert's book, souk is what they call the water cellars. And of course there was the opportunity to go over and have your photo taken with the camel for, just a few dollars. I opted no to that myself. Henna was and still the most elegant traditional cosmetic used by women in the UAE. I find this interesting because it reminds us that not everything is today as it was back then. This entire exhibition is talking about the beauty and the elegance of these ladies and the makeup that they create and use. So I found this pretty interesting. The ladies in the photos, as they're sitting here, their faces have actually been blacked out. Someone has come along and put a black square over their faces, or masked them in some other way. It shows that cultures can change pretty quickly. Oil was found here in, I think, 1958. If you look back and find photos of Abu Dhabi, they look like this village. One or two large buildings. If you look at Abu Dhabi today, it's a world apart from where it was. Same with a lot of the cultures. We think that they've gone on forever, but some of them are actually pretty recent.
Not gonna lie, I can see why that one has mixed reviews. Look, it's quite beautiful. And if you're here on a tour, yeah, jump along, have a look-see. A little bit to see, a little bit to buy, if you're so inclined. Some overpriced knickknacks, I guess. At the end of the day, worth a look, but I can see why it gets mixed reviews. Everything from 5-star to 1-star, and everything in between. I reckon it deserves its public rating of 3.5. But, hey, thank you. Honestly, if you've got the time, come see it. If not, you're not missing terribly much.
Another thing I didn't understand about Abu Dhabi is, even though it's a predominantly Muslim country, they're pretty okay and open to other religions. Like, it's true when you go in their places of worship, you need to be respectful of their rules. But that's kind of the same anywhere. You know, women needed to cover their head. Video recording was fine, but please sir, no audio. So we ended up doing a tour, with the first stop being a religious hub that the Prime Minister had commissioned. The hub featured a synagogue, a mosque, and a church. No, this is not the start of a joke. And what was interesting about this is when the plans were being designed, the very clear instruction was that no building shall be higher than any other. So each building is exactly the same height. And that was done very intentionally. All religions are equal here. Totally different to Australian churches. This is the mosque. I actually didn't manage to get a good shot of the front-facing wall, the names of Allah. But, damn, that's a beautiful building. We took lunch at Cafe 300. Food was, look, fine. You're obviously paying more for the view and for the prestige than you are for what actually ends up on the plate. Views were spectacular. You had a 360-degree view of the entire of Abu Dhabi, and as the name suggests, the cafe is 300 meters off the ground. Every one of us, as we've stepped out of that elevator, has gone, damn, that is incredible. So the deal is basically you can pay 35 dirham to come up, or you can have something to eat, something to drink at about $50 per person, 50 dirham per person, and it's free. For me, that's a pretty good deal. Our table is over there, bub. This one here. Yeah? This. I have left my bag here. Actually, that's something else I wanted to mention. Abu Dhabi and Dubai feel very safe. Everywhere we went, I felt very comfortable just leaving my bag or my phone or my wallet just on the table. Like when you would go into a food court and you would quite literally see someone's wallet, someone's phone sitting on the table and no one else there. So they've come in, put down their mobile phone to reserve their table, and gone for a walk around the food court, knowing, like absolutely knowing, no one is going to steal my stuff. I also went for a couple of walks late at night, just coming back from dinner or from wherever. And again, even though there were minimal people on the street, at no point did I feel threatened. At no point did I think, oh, geez, you know what, I'm just going to get a cab or an Uber because this is kind of not a safe spot to be. So I would see single, and when I say single I mean unaccompanied, females walking around on their own. At no point was there a sense that maybe this is unsafe or maybe this is unwise for them. Now maybe that changes outside of the city, I can't speak to that, but where I was in Abu Dhabi, where we were in Dubai, I felt completely safe. And here we see a selection of fairly nice, massively overpriced pastries. More or less the only vegetarian item they had on the table was a vegetarian sandwich, as you see here. Look, it wasn't bad, it was pretty tasty. And my wife had that. I don't recall the name of it. It was basically a chunk of different meats and green things presented in a piece of bread. The waiter, God bless him, did actually give us a warning and asked, do you understand and do you know what that is? Apparently they have had comments, shall we say, because people got a meal that they weren't expecting. Actually, to be fair, I'm told it was quite tasty. Next up, we hit up the palace. You are left wondering, is that real gold or is that just gold plating? You know what, neither one would surprise me. But I will say the most magical thing about this palace was the coffee. You may have heard of it, you may have seen other YouTubers having the gold flake coffee. Because the cafe is actually inside the hotel space, you were required to book for the cafe, which obviously we hadn't. However, we did actually head downstairs to have the exact same coffee at the Fountain Cafe, which is coming up next.
Behind me, you can see Etihad Palace. And we've got to say, like everything about Abu Dhabi, it's opulent, and they've taken it to that 11. 8, 9, 10, 11. Everything is just a little bit grander, a little bit better, a little bit bigger. So we wanted to have coffee inside the palace. As many of you know, there's a gold cappuccino that you can get here. We ended up out at the Fountain Cafe. I am so pleased. It is so beautiful here. There's the cool humidity of the water fountain that is here in front of me. You can hear in the background. We're sitting under the shade. There's the beautiful view of the temple. There's the beautiful, beautiful view of my favorite human, my hamster girl, and my favorite mother-in-law. And honestly, life's pretty good. How is it? Perfect? It better be perfect. I believe it costs about $20 US, one of these ones. Or about 75 of the local currency, I think. God, I'd hate to drop it. You know what? Tastes like fucking coffee. That's good coffee. But right here on my finger, that's like $5 worth of coffee. Pretty good coffee. Cheers. We also have these chocolate biscuits. Pretty good biscuit. Pistachio. Yum.
Next up, our guide took us out to the Grand Mosque. I have, however, already done a full and complete YouTube video on that one. I fell in love with this building. This blew me away. This to me was on the scale of visiting the Great Pyramids in Egypt. This was, to quote Gladiator, I did not know men could build such things. Check out that video on the link below. Next up, Ferrari World.
Fairly full-on day. We have disembarked this morning, picked up some stuff at the Sofitel, and then dropped off some bags at Abu Dhabi's Radisson Blu. As those that have followed the channel for a little while possibly know, Radisson is one of my favorite places to stay. We're not sponsored by them or anything like that. I just find the places really, really comfortable. And now we're about to hit up Ferrari World, world's fastest roller coaster. See how we go. So I'm not much of a car guy, but that is sexy. I'm guessing there's a lot of horses under that horse. I used to love this one in Dreamworld. Waited in the queue for Mission Ferrari for, I don't know, 20 minutes I guess. Mission Ferrari is this beast behind me. I don't know, looked pretty decent. Things were going well. And then there came an announcement basically saying the ride is temporarily shut down. We don't know for how long. So there are still people waiting there for it to maybe open up in the queue, like those that were pretty close to the front of the queue. I've got to say, I made the choice to exit the queue. That was maybe 20 minutes ago, and it still hasn't started up again. So I am pretty okay with that choice. We'll probably try and hit up the mall now and just see what's what. There's also Flying Aces shut down. The world's fastest roller coaster shut down. The outdoor roof walk not going. The zip line not going. Mission Ferrari not going. Look, I'm not going to ask for a refund or anything, but I gotta say it is a little disappointing.
Look, I'm not one to complain too much, and the ride that we did go on, singular, was actually pretty good fun. That was the Turbo. But at the end of the day, guys, I would suggest check the website before you commit to this one. Like, I'm looking at the Ferrari World website now, And it is actually saying that the Formula Rosa, the roof walk experience are closed until further notice, and a few other rides are going to be down for maintenance half of September. I kind of wish I had known to check that before we went there, because if I did, I probably would have thought, okay, let's not go to Ferrari World, let's go to SeaWorld or one of the other worlds out there. So I would say learn from this. I was very disappointed in this. On the other hand, you roll with it. Life is life. So that concludes Abu Dhabi. Do go ahead and check out the clip of the Grand Mosque Abu Dhabi. This place blew me away. Like, I can't speak highly enough of this. This one should be on everybody's bucket list.
Sometimes it just feels like, put the camera away. Just be here with this space. I think he's overcompensating for something. Finished. Thank you.
What are my tips?
Your tip. Little bakshish. It's okay. Get shit done. And now, the world famous bed test. Rabbit not included. Flight to Italy, one of the more gentle rides. Picks you up on a seat, flies you over the sights of Italy. Apparently I'm a bit too big for that one. She would try and close the thing, and whilst we did get the seat harness locked in place, certain parts of the male anatomy was a bit tight. A little bit tight for me. So we were in, we were good. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. It was just. Beautiful shower we will be using very soon.
And pause. I wish I had have known the Tim scale of how many people you can fit in that shower whilst I was filming that. Tim, for you, buddy, I reckon you could comfortably get 6 people in that shower, maybe 7 if they were very friendly. P.S. Best shower I've had in my life.
1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not a record, but I think we can definitely get 10 people in this shower.
Excuse me. Hi, can you just jump out of the way? Uno momento. Thank you. Great, now it just looks like it's got like golden dandruff.